What is the best seat on every ride at Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure? Let's find out today. Okay, so we're really not going to do each ride because some rides it just doesn't matter, but for those that it does matter, we'll talk about those. We are not going to go in any particular order, but we will start in Springfield. The Simpsons ride. Technically, it is in Krusty Land, just on the outskirts of Springfield. But this one, it doesn't matter. Any seat you're in is going to give you some motion sickness. Now, I'm not going to show you every ride where the seat doesn't matter. I just wanted to point out that one because it makes me sick. Anywhere I sit on that, it makes me sick. MIB Alien Attack. Now this one, your seat does matter a little bit. What you want to do, what I would recommend, get a back row and get a corner seat. So back row corner, that way you're able to twist and turn your body a little more to stay on those targets. And if you want a little better chance of scoring high, I did a video, tips and tricks for MIB, coming up right there. Click on that, or I will leave a link in the description. Help you boost your score a little bit. Okay, let's head into Diagon Alley. There's a couple things I need to tell you about the seating for Escape from Gringotts. Here is the thing with Gringotts. It is a screen ride, partly a screen ride, so a front row is preferable. That way you don't have anyone blocking the screen with their head. However, the thing I want to mention, if you're a bigger person, the third row seating is more accommodating for bigger people. So if you think you're a little bigger, you might want a little more comfort, ask them to have you sit in the third row. I don't have to ask. They see me and they know. This guy, he needs to go in the third row. I'm not going to mention all these where it doesn't matter, but Hogwarts Express, another one that does not matter. Oh boy, into San Francisco, there is a ride in here, a quite infamous ride. So there's all types of jokes I could make about the best seat for Fast and the Furious Supercharged. I'm not going to go there. I will let you, in the comments below, make those jokes about the best seat for F&F. I will advise you this one little point though. I would say you want the middle of the bus and back. You don't want to get too close to the front, even though for this bus, for Disco Kong, as I call it, the party bus here, they do have like a screen on the front, so you can see action that happens in front of you, as well to the sides, but still middle of the bus and back from there. But I would like to mention, for now, this attraction is not open. It has been temporarily closed. I guess the family's out on a mission. Transformers, the ride, 3D. Another screen ride, so every seat's pretty good. I would suggest maybe, you know, if you're in the front row, that way you don't have someone's big head in front of you blocking some of the screen. The Revenge of the Mummy roller coaster. All the seats are fun. All the seats are great. I will advise again, if you're a bigger person like myself, it's the fourth row. Specifically, the fourth and on the corner. That seat is a bit more accommodating to bigger people. Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon. This is more of a theater type seating. So again, you know, just like when you're in the movies, kind of a middle row, and you can ask for that. There's no harm in asking if you're like in the middle to the back of the seating for Jimmy Fallon. Oh yeah, here we go, Rip Ride Rocket. Now, I actually did a video, everything you need to know about Rip Ride Rocket. The little video will be popping up right here, and I'll put a link in the description. Anything you want to know about that, except which seat is best, I'm going to tell you that right now. I suppose I'm going to say the very front seat is a little better. But the good thing about the Rip Ride Rocket roller coaster trains, the seating, anything behind the first row, it is slightly elevated. A little bit of a stadium seating effect. So it's almost like every row is the front row. But the actual front row, a tiny bit better. Personally, I don't think the seating choice matters much for Shrek 4D or for Minions. Maybe with Minions you want to be a little further back. It is a huge screen, so maybe you don't want to be too close to it. The Born Stuntacular. I'm going to contradict myself a bit with this advice. So this is a show, it has a stage, it has a huge screen, but in my opinion, you know, I like to be closer to the stage on this one to kind of get like that zero horizon effect. That way you don't see some of the special effects happening. There's cars that pop out of the stage, things like that. So for this one, I think the closer to the stage in the screen, the better. Okay, now we're gonna walk over to Islands of Adventure. I'll tell you the best seating for those rides, but remember, if I don't mention the ride, pretty much the seat doesn't matter. Over here at Islands of Adventure, the first thing we're going to talk about is the Hulk roller coaster. I have two thoughts on this. So your first option for the best seat on the Hulk will be the front row. I mean, it's quite thrilling coming out of that launch into the blue sky and the green track. That's a classic roller coaster suggestion, is the front row. However, I'm also going to suggest the back row for this coaster. My favorite seat for the Hulk is the back row, and the main reason for that is the launch out. That tunnel launch, I feel like you're in that tunnel just a second longer, and the tunnel is amazing to look at. Get all the lights, all the gamma rays. So when you're in the back row, you get a little more time in the tunnel. Front row, you're out of that in a hot nanosecond. The Hulk also has some modified seating for bigger folk like me. Rows 1, 4, 5, and 8. All you have to do is when you're at the front of the line, tell them you want the modified seating, and that will be rows 1, 4, 5, or 8. Dr. Doom's Fearfall. The seat doesn't matter. Whatever seat you are brave enough to get in, that's a good seat. Spider-Man is in the same category as Transformers. It's mainly a screen ride, so if you're in the front row, there won't be anyone in front of you blocking your view with a head. Popeye's and Bluto's Barges, there's not a best seat, but there is a lucky seat. And the lucky seat is the one that is going to rotate, that's going to get you directly beneath this waterfall. That is the best seat on the raft. That waterfall is shooting out far today. Normally it doesn't shoot out so far. It's a different lucky seat today. Ripsaw Falls. Here's the deal with this. It is a log flume ride. There are 4 seats. Any seat you're in, you will get soaking wet from head to toe. Now, I think because of weight distribution, they always put me in the 3rd seat. You know, they don't want a big heavy guy like me in the front or in the very end, so bigger guys like me or bigger people like me probably going to get the 3rd seat. And I'll say this about Ripsaw Falls, the seating, no matter how big or how small you are, whether it's rows or seat 1, 2, 3, or 4, they are all hard to get in. No matter your size or weight, it's hard to squeeze into that log flume. And now we come to Kong. The first time I ever rode this, I was in the 1st row. It sucked. The 1st row, 2nd row sucks. Again, I would advise you for any type of these bus rides, ask for the middle row or further back. One more piece of advice about Kong. When you're done looking at the screens, when the ride's almost over and you get to that big animatronic Kong, take off your goggles. You can see that with your own eyes better than when you're wearing the goggles. All right. We have reached the Jurassic Park River Adventure. 2 trains of thought here. If you want to get wet, sit in the front row and on the sides. If you do not want to get wet or too wet, request rows 3 or 4 and sit in the middle of those. Even though it's not done yet, the Jurassic World Velocicoaster, I'm going to say any seat's going to be good, but you might want to go with your classic front row seating on this roller coaster. Not quite at the end yet, guys. You're almost there though. I want to remind you, click that subscribe button and that bell notification button so you'll know when another video is ready for you to view. Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. Seating does not matter for views or for anything or for motion sickness. Any seat you sit in, if you're prone to motion sickness, you're going to get sick. And any seat will provide you a good view of what's happening on the ride. What about Islands of Adventure's newest roller coaster? Which is the best seat? Well, for this one, I'm going to go against my usual thinking. Mostly, I'm a back row coaster guy, but for this one, the front row truly is the best. One more thing about Hagrid's motorbike before we move on. If you're a bigger person like me, I'm big and tall, the motorbike side is way more accommodating than the sidecar. The best seat in Poseidon's Fury? I crack on that attraction too much. I'll let you guys tell me in the comments below the best seat. That is a bit of a trick question because there are no seats. You stand the whole time. Seuss Landing is the area of the park that is just kids rides. So I don't think any of the seating choices will matter on any of the rides in here. Well, hot dog, we made it to the end of the video right before the rain started coming. So do me a favor, if you've made it this far, go ahead and click that subscribe button and that bell notification button. But as far as today is concerned, thanks for hanging out with me. And as always, don't miss the magic, don't miss the fun.
I'm Brandon.
Anastasia. Don't miss the magic and don't miss the fun.
Thanks for watching Rix Flicks, and now let's go home and relax. Hello and welcome to the team New Flicksters. We have Hannah Elizabeth as an executive producer, Britt and Jeff McIsaac as Nikki's rock stars, and Cheyenne Mitchell as a producer. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel.